Hey guys, Sean Wilson here. So I was on YouTube and I noticed this video and this amazing board. I'm talking about, it's a beautiful board, folks. And it's that white montage that I don't care if anybody says that's a beautiful board. And when you combine the board with the sounds that he's using and the way that he's just bringing those strings out, it really gave me an idea about a video today. I reached out to him, by the way, on Instagram. I was like, yo, man, can you give me training for my group? Mike Patrick. Y'all check the video out. Check him out. He was so gracious. He said, no problem. So I'm going to send you guys details on that. If you're a member of the site, I'm going to show you how we can send some more information on when that training will be. But for this video today, I just kind of wanted to focus on, it's geared to gospel musicians. If you have a desire to play more orchestral type voicings in your playing, it's a great video. I'm going to show my own tips with the orchestral process. Gorgeous string arrangements, and just some general ideas of playing with strings on the keyboard. So stay tuned.
Oh, no way! No way with the patch change! Oh, that was beautiful, mate.
So before we give you the tips, let's go over some prerequisites, some things that you're going to need to know. The first thing that you need to understand is that if you're trying to play strings, particularly on a keyboard, that it sounds great layered. And the layer that I like to use, and he actually discusses it in the video, in terms of what layers he's using. So definitely check that out if you want to see his exact sounds. But what I like to do is, now remember, the string is not an attack instrument, right? So most strings have this, and this is called hybrid warm strings from Omnisphere. So notice that when you press it, it doesn't play automatically, as opposed to a piano, right? The attack is right there. So the thing that you're gonna have to remember is strings sound best layered if you have one instrument that has a great attack, and then the string instrument, if you choose a string that doesn't have a great attack, they usually work well together. So this is why if you're doing piano and say strings, where the attack on the strings isn't all there, but the piano attack is good, sounds really great together. So pair two string sounds, one with a short attack, one with a long attack. Pick your favorite, and then of course you have to adjust the relative volumes of each to what you want to sound like. Here's one with a short attack, and that sounds really great. This is a mix of a violin and some cellos with the Hollywood strings, a little bit layered in the back. And then I'm going to put on the hybrid as well. So let's how that sounds. Oh, that sounds so nice. And maybe I want a little bit more of the orchestral ones. So that sounds really great. As you can see, it already sounds great just by pairing the right things together. Now, the next thing I want to tell you about is you need to understand chords already. So let's say you're playing as an aux player. You may think, oh, I'm just going to play strings. As an aux, it's not as easy as mains. It actually is more difficult than mains because you have to understand what the main person is playing. And you have to understand not only the chords themselves, but how strings operate within those chords and how to do it. So let's discuss that, okay? So the first thing is you don't play strings the way you play chords. And I want to give you an example. Let's say I have an E. Well, actually, no, let me do this example. Let's do Great Is Your Mercy. Let's do it in G, right? On the piano, okay, you play the chords block by block. Right? Right, so as you can see, it's kind of like I'm a little bit free the attack because the attack is there. I can do a lot more movements. But because with the strings, you don't do that. You don't play it the same. So someone's going to say, well, what do you do? Well, what you want to do is you want to move as few notes as possible. Right? Because when you're playing strings, you have to think of what note should I change. So let's put that string back on there and let's play the same song. So how would we do this? We want to play Great Is Your Mercy. So watch this. And now what I want to do is I'm going to lower this. I want to give it more. So y'all see how I'm playing? So again, now there's a way that I'm playing this a lot different than if I had to play that same thing. And I'm actually thinking to myself, what note needs to change? What notes should I be changing? What notes can stay? And just to give you an example, when I started the song, I started off with just a regular old G chord, right? So whereas in the piano, I would have went like, I would have probably wouldn't. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember what I did, but anyway, the point is that each chord is kind of standing alone. Whereas in the strings, I have this G chord. Obviously, great is the melody, so I'm going to be changing that. But outside of that, the B and the D didn't need to change. I just kept it there and only moved one note, which is the G to the F sharp, went down, strings like moving in half-step chromatic movements, so. Right? So in other words, it's the fact that, and this brings me to the second tip. Let me just go straight into that. I call it hold the bottom, hold the top. So sometimes strings sound great when you're holding the bottom note. Let's hold two G's. And let's just say it's just a worship moment and you're trying to create an atmosphere. And you just want to, and you're just holding on that G and your bass guy's holding a G. See, I'm holding the bottom. See, it sounds great because I'm holding them. It sounds so connected. Right? So, and again, so the idea is that it's the reason why these strings sound so great, I think, in some of these chord combinations is because chords sound great when you're playing the piano. Because it's the chords themselves that sound great. But with strings, it's the movement of the strings against an anchor note. That's where the magic happens. It's not that I'm playing a chord with strings. It's that I'm anchoring a note and the harmony that's being created by the movement is what is sounding great with strings. You guys got to get this because this is the key to making strings sound great. Let me give you an example, a practical example here. Let's say I have a chord, an E flat sus, and then I go from this to an E flat dominant, and then I go from this to an A flat sus. Right? So here are my three chords. I'm going to show you how you would do this with strings, right? So it's going to be an E flat. I'm just doing a chord. I'm making up one because this is one that we could probably, especially if you're in gospel, you would use this. Right? Here's a chord. And then, okay. So let's say you have to play that same chord combination on a string, on strings. How would I do it? Right? So I want to show you. So one thing that really sounds great with strings is where you move in octaves at the same time, especially when those octaves are descending or ascending in half-step movements. See that? So try to move as few notes as possible. Try to move as few notes as possible. Right? Okay, so again, I like how they're anchored against another note. That really sounds to me, that's where it's at, you know, when you're trying to create string voicings. Lower that key. Anchoring the top note, not changing that top. Now in this case, I'm taking a chance. Now I'm playing it more like piano chords, which I shouldn't, because if you notice, I was changing all of them so you can kind of hear the shift, which I don't like. I don't think that's a good strategy. But I was just kind of trying to prove the point that, you know, at least I have one note held down. You understand what I'm saying? So sounds good that way. All right, let's go to the third tip is you got to study inner voicings. Guys, give me some names of some people who, who have great, who you like to listen to for strings. You know, Matt Jones Orchestra, dope. Richard Smallwood's intros, the one on Total Praise, I love it. Actually, I like listening to Take 6 because Take 6 in terms of studying inner voicings, right? Each voice is creating a melody in a sense, right? So you have some kind of voice leading there. And I really like looking at strings that way, as in each note, where should it go and what should it be doing? This is an advanced form of playing. That's why I don't want anyone to think that playing strings is simple, but because it's actually, to do it correctly, it does require you to have an advanced knowledge of melody construction. Yeah, so give me some names of some guys, you know, who you guys listen to for strings, or any songs that have some great strings in them. But like I said, inner voicing constructions, deciding what notes should move. You know, I love the Lord. See? Love God. See, so if I was on the piano, I would have went, I love the Lord. See, separate chord, chord. I, separate chord, separate chord, separate chord. I'm on strings. So now I'm going half step, love. And since I'm moving this F to an E, I don't have to change it yet, and it sounds beautiful because in essence I'm playing a E major chord over C, right? Lord. Okay, do you guys see how I'm kind of changing one note at a time and really being really intentional about, you know, which notes I want to change and things like that? So let me know if you guys enjoyed today's video. You know, one of the first courses actually on my website was a strings course, because I like strings, and so I was, you know, trying to show you how to play hymns using strings and the proper way to do that. So if you're a member, go ahead and check that out. And then for those of you who are just kind of wanting to get better in your vocabulary, I have right now I'm offering a short version of my roadmap, how to get from beginner to advanced. All you gotta do is put in your email and we'll send some to your email. So check that in the link in the description. We'll put some more info on that. But as always, man, great chatting with you guys. Go ahead and try those strings out and let me know what you think. And we'll talk to y'all later.